warm welcome to all of those who are worshiping in Woodside. Glad that you're with us. And those watching online, wherever you might be around the world, might we be one together. We conclude today and wrap up a series called Life Cycles, which has been about hearing and responding to God's voice in every cycle of life that you find yourself in, from that of a child to death. And then we wrap it up today just talking about simply dad offering on this special Father's Day. And we know that this is a day that makes God very happy because God himself said, honor your father and mother. And we know that when we do this, that it puts a smile on the face of God. So today I'm going to honor my dad in memory because my dad passed away 5 years ago, and some of you are in the same boat, but his memory is alive and well with me. And some of you will honor your dads in presence. You will be with them, or you'll phone them and have FaceTime. You'll give them a card or a gift or go golfing or go grilling, whatever the case might be. And I pray that it'll be a great day for you. Treasure your dad. This has been a remarkable week for our family because our oldest son, who's the only one that's married of our 4 children, he and his wife had their first baby this week. And so I became a granddad this week to a little girl by the name of Jovi Kimberly. And there she is. We have just had a lot of tears, a lot of laughter. It's just been a very special Father's Day. So they're all coming to my house, and I'm grilling, and I bought the food, and it's going to be a great day. Looking forward to it. One of my favorite qualities about God is that he is a visionary God. You realize how much we need vision in our lives? He's a visionary God. And when he looks at this guy, Abram, and he's a bachelor, and he pulls him out of his community and he says, go where I want you to go, and I'm going to bless you. I'm going to make you into a great nation. You're going to be a father of a great nation. And through that nation, all nations will be blessed. Well, many years passed, and nothing happened. And Abram, who became Abraham, was confused. And in Genesis 15, God, who paints pictures unlike anybody else, tells Abraham to look up into the night sky, and he says, count the stars if you can. So shall your offspring be. And within a short amount of time, God would bring that blessing. And from generation to generation, the blessing of God has passed across the earth that even brings us here today. Around here at Westwood, we define vision as the ability to see, the faith to believe, the courage to do, and the hope to endure. In our context, because we believe that God is sovereign over all of the affairs of mankind, we define it more specifically this way, that vision is the ability to see God's preferred future for your life. It's the faith to believe that he has the resources to see that vision come to fruition. It's the courage to do what he calls you to do, to see that it happen. And it's the hope to endure all the obstacles, challenges, and disappointments that will come your way, and there will be plenty of them. Visionary is the perfect description of our guest speaker today, Coach Jerry Kill. Coach Kill came to the University of Minnesota 5 years ago with his wife, Rebecca, moving into the Iceland of the great America, North America. We're so glad you had the courage to do that. It takes courage to come here, And he has been leading this program with excellence for 5 years now. He was last year named 2014 Big Ten Coach of the Year. He brought the Minnesota Gophers to its first January bowl game since 1962, the Citrus Bowl. And I'll have you know, I took my 2 sons on a plane and went down and celebrated you. Of course, it was in Florida in January, but it was a great celebration. He and his wife, Rebecca, honor God with their lives. And occasionally, I love to just bring in those who love God and seek to honor them in the callings that they have, different than maybe ours may be, to be inspired and encouraged by them. So do you want to have just a little bit of fun this morning? I've never done this, but would you just stand for a brief moment? I've never introduced a guest this way, but would you give a rousing welcome to Coach Jerry Kill? Come on, Jerry, come on.
And that's the end of my speech. Thank you. No, it's a privilege to be here this morning. I had to ask permission from Sid Hartman that I'd miss his show today, and he granted that to me, so I get to be here with you. Just to kind of go through my background a little bit and go into a little bit of a message is I grew up in a small country town in Kansas of about 2,000 people. I was raised by a good mother and father. We were raised simple. Dad worked 3 jobs and, he provided for us. And that was back in the days where you got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you ate. At 12, you ate at noon. And at 6 o'clock, you better be home. And I think, how many people remember that? And so it was one of the, we were raised right. On Sunday, we were going to go to church. And then we come home, and then Mom would cook a big feast. And that's how we lived every day. And I was working when I was 14 years old. And it taught me a lot. Sometimes I didn't always agree with Dad. But you know what? He was my best friend. He's molded me my whole life. I lost him several years ago, but he's the reason I'm where I'm at. He's a hard-nosed, tough guy that taught me a lot, taught me my values and what to stand for, and I appreciated that very much. I'm the only person in my family that got a college degree. I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to bale hay and do all that stuff anymore. And so I went to college at Southwestern College, a little school that you've never probably heard of, and went there. And my college roommate was a guy named Doug Smith. And I went home. After a couple years, I went home with him. And I was at his house, and I was eating with his family. And there's this good-looking gal across the table. She's got her boyfriend over there. And I kind of checked her out a little bit, and I said, you know what? I'm going to marry you someday. She ended up coming to the same college I was at, and she's sitting there right there. And we both, we worked hard. I had 3 jobs in college. I made donuts in the morning, worked at an all-night grocery store, and then worked in football with that. And then sometimes she worked at a flower shop. I delivered flowers. You did what you did, what you could do. But at an early age that, I'm sure I wouldn't recommend this to everybody, but I got married when I was 21 and Rebecca was 19. And we've been on this journey now for 32 years. And, we've been through a lot as we've come through it. And, nothing's ever perfect in life. There's only one perfect man that ever walked this earth, and that's Jesus Christ. The rest of us got our work to do. And we had our work to do when you get married that early. And with that being said, it wasn't always easy. Marriage is very difficult, but we worked through it. We weren't too proud to get help when we were 23 and 25 and you don't have no money. You don't think about that when you're young, You just go get married. You think that everything's ready to go. But there was work to be done. And we were proud enough to, to go to the church and get help and work through it and stay with it. And, we've got 2 beautiful kids. Crystal, who works here in the inner city, and Tasha, who just recently got married in Southern Illinois here about 3 weeks ago. So we've got a beautiful family. I've got a beautiful wife. I love her more than life. She is my rock. And, through adversity and through things that have happened through our life, we have grown closer and closer. We took off from that college. I had no idea, that I was going to be a football coach. I thought about selling pharmaceutical equipment and doing pharmaceutical sales. And then, I got asked to volunteer there at my school, and I've been coaching 32 years since. And we went on a journey from coaching in high school to small college to 1AA to Northern Illinois, and then to Minnesota. I think we've lived in 7 states, and our children went along with us in that journey. And so it's been a great a great thing for us. We are truly blessed. The Lord has helped us in many ways. And I will kind of talk about that a little bit. I'm going to talk about faith, family, and football. Now, you're going to say, Coach, you hear people speak, I've got, my faith first and got my family second, and then I got my profession third. I have not always had that. I'm going to be honest with you. How many of you really, you look at it and do you really do that? It's great talk, but do you do it? Well, when you're a college football coach and you're going through the deal, I'm spending a lot of time, I've got 115 players I'm also taking care of. My wife's sitting there with 2 daughters. You can't get to every event. Things get rolling, and then all of a sudden you got this going on and you got that going on, and all of a sudden you just get in your little circle, and that's what you're focused in. And for many years I was focused in that circle. I went to church, I worked things in, but did I really go to church? Was I really needing God's help, or was I just caught up in that bubble? And I was caught in that bubble trying, to be the best at the profession. And you know what kind of pressure it is. If we don't win, I won't be here speaking to you. So you have to work. And I'm lucky I have a tremendous wife, and we've been on a journey, but, got caught up into it. And, it tests a lot of things. Well, you have to have a wake-up call every once in a while. In 2005, I got a wake-up call. I was diagnosed with kidney cancer, and it wasn't good. And also along with that, I developed a seizure situation, all in the same time, been perfectly healthy. And when I went in for surgery for cancer, and you're laying there and you don't know what's going to happen when you come out of surgery, all of a sudden you start going, hey, now wait a minute. What's happened here? And believe me, when you don't know what's going to happen, you got that 50-50 shot, all of a sudden your life changes a little bit. And then you start getting those things in order. But I would challenge you, why would you wait until some adversity hits? Does that make sense to you? We all do it. We wait until something tragic happens, then we're on our knees and we're praying, we're begging. Our country's that way a little bit. We wait until something happens bad, then we all come together. Why don't we do that all the time? So, when you talk about faith, you have to have faith. Without faith, you have nothing. And we talked to our team about that. We're probably one of the few schools, I don't know. We take a knee every practice because we lost one of our players 4 years ago. We do it before the game. Nobody knows what we're doing, but we're honoring him and God. We have team chapel. Everybody comes in team chapel. You say, how do you do that, Coach? We send letters out to every player that's on our football team. We ask their mothers and fathers if they want them to come to chapel or not. I've been coaching a lot of years, had never had anybody tell me no. And so we even had a Muslim that played for us at Southern Illinois. And I said, now, Muhammad, you don't have to go. He's a great kid. You don't have to go if you don't feel comfortable. He says, Coach, I think I'll go. I might get a good word in there, So, but we present, and that's part of life, is that, you need to talk about your faith, and it needs to be important with you, because if you don't, you have no chance. I mean, you have to have faith in your life. And so we try to do that, through a lot of things, and not always just through adversity. And I'm guilty of that, through adversities and things. All of a sudden I'm really into it. And then sometimes you fade away, but you got to be into it all the time. And you got to trust the ultimate Father, every once in a while. And if you had a dollar bill in your hand and you look at the back of it, this always reminds me, it says, "In God we trust." So I always look at that every once in a while, because that's the ultimate person that you can trust. Would you agree to me? He's always going to be there for you. always going to be there for you. So, you know, you carry a dollar bill around, you look at the back of that, sometimes that's a good memory. Along with that is you talk about family. And with family, you know, there's nothing more important than your family. And when I was there getting ready to have surgery, when I had kidney cancer, guess who was there? I know a lot of people. My family. My family was there. And, you know, my family is my life. My daughter, Tasha, got married here about 3 weeks ago. She's my little girl now. And when you're a coach's daughters and a wife, they live a different life now. It's a lifestyle. And they don't care. You guys can boo me, complain, tell me I can't call a play, whatever it may be. My daughters don't care. So that's a good thing. But my little girl got married, and, you know, I hadn't been through all that. And she said, "You got to be at the church, Dad, an hour and 20 minutes before." And I went, "Hour and 20 minutes?" You know. So I walk into church, and I walk through the doors, and my daughter's up here on the altar, and she's beautiful. She just looked beautiful. And they tell me to walk down that aisle, and I walk down that aisle, and I look at her, and she jerks out this piece of paper, and she wrote what she thought of her daddy. And let me tell you something, is when she did that, and she got done, I couldn't even talk. I mean, tears rolled by my eyes, and I grabbed her, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And you never know about how your kids feel, but from that moment when I walked out that church, I felt good. But it's because we have a tight family, even though we're all over the place, is that we love each other and we care about each other, and it's important. A lot of people say, "Hey, Coach, what do you do in your spare time?" Well, I don't have a lot of spare time, number one, but number two, they say, "Hey, let's go play golf, let's fish." I'd love to do all those things. I used to do them all the time. But you know what? After 2005, I got two things in my life. That's, you know, well, three. Better not forget a couple. Is that the big man upstairs that's allowed me to have my family, and coaching football, that's what I do. And instead of having all the hobbies, I spend it all with my family. And whatever hobbies we do, you know, we do together. So that's very important, and you know, I just wanted to share that with you. It's like, you know, last night we go to Luke Bryan concert. I'm an old country boy. I should be in blue jeans and boots, but, you know, I dressed up for you all. And we go to that concert, and, you know, my wife and I are walking out of the concert, and she nudged me at the wedding because they said there's 4 things you better do, and talked about being affectionate to your wife, being nice, and she nudged me during the wedding. So we looked pretty good last night. I had my boots on, and she looked good. I held her hand all the way back to where we were parked. So, you know what, you laugh about that, but you know what? Just think about how many times you told your wife you loved them, or told your kids how much you loved them, you know, or told the person next to you how much you loved them, or looked at the person next to you and cared about them more than you did yourself. Boy, wouldn't we have a better country if we did some of that? But we always wait. Shoot, I've waited. She had nudged me a little bit. But it's important that you do that. It's Father's Day, you know. If you're part of, hey, it's Happy Father's Day. You love that person that helped you. Because let me tell you, I got a lot of kids that I coach. They don't have all the fathers, you know. I got all kinds of kids from all different backgrounds. But, you know, that's what makes coaching so fun. But some of them not as lucky. So if you're lucky, you know, you need to make sure you do that because it's important. It really is. The next thing that is the extended family, football. Now, you all talk and you look and said it's all about, the people, how many did they beat Nebraska? Are they going to win the Big Ten? Are they going to win the championship? You know what? I care about that. I do. But that's not why I coach. I coach because of those 115 kids. I got the greatest job in the world. I go in there, we're going to start a new season, started last week. I greet 115 kids from all different backgrounds, all different places, and we got to make them become one. And let me tell you what, there's nothing better than trying to do that. And it's fun. They're our extended family. They call my wife Mom. They call me Coach. If they need help, we're there. We're going to take care of all our kids. All those kids plus our 2 girls. Now, that's a full-time job now. We've got problems every day. If you got 4 children got problems, try all the problems that I'm going to have every day. But we enjoy it. That's our extended family. Football's a great game. It's a life-saving game. You hear all kinds of things about football. Football saves lives. Saved my life. Saved my life. It still is. I experienced this thing a year and a half ago. It was in the paper, all those kind of things. My wife drove me up to that game. She knew that I had a passion for football, but she knew I loved those kids. And those kids play hard now. They play hard for us. And we appreciate that very much. Along with that, you think about it, is we'll get fired for, we don't win. But that's one thing as a coach I've never worried about. I really don't care. The only thing I care about is what happens to those kids once they leave our program. What kind of husbands, what kind of fathers, what kind of people are they representing at the University of Minnesota? When I go and I get up there and I go to the big man and they put that tombstone out there, I don't think anybody's going to go across the tombstone and go, well, there's old Jerry Kill. He was 142 and 78. Boy, he's Big Ten Coach of the Year. I don't think it's going to say that. I think it's going to say, when I lived and when I passed, what did I do between the dashes? Was I a good person? Did I help kids out? Did I give back to people? Did I do what the good Lord gave me the calling to do? That's what's important to me. Because at the end of the day, we all worry. I worry. Got all them kids to worry about. But it's really out of my control. It's His control. I always worry about the next step. That's why you got to enjoy today. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And yesterday don't matter anymore. So you got to live in the day, live in the moment, because we don't know what's going to happen. But I think it's important. That's what we teach our kids. Everybody thinks we coach football. We teach our kids life lessons. I spend as much time doing that as coaching football, and more so now than we ever had. We got good kids. Everybody talks about kids. I'm talking about kids right here. The only people, I'll probably get in trouble for this, but the people that are messed up is me, the grown-ups. Does that make sense? We got to get back to the basics. We got to put the emphasis on the kids. We got to love them. We got to have a dinner every once in a while together. You got to have family time. This is important. Having church time with your family. The more we do it, the tighter that family becomes. Because I go all over the country, and it's just not that way anymore. We've let it get away from us, and we need to somehow find a way to get that back. And guess who needs to do it? Me, my wife, the grown-ups. Let's take care of these kids. That's what we're here for. And that's what God wants us to do. So that's where I'm at with some of the things that, when you put it in order with faith, family, and football. And it's something that you truly try to keep in order. My wife will tell you, because I'm an honest person, trying to keep that in order, coaching college football is difficult. We go 16 hours a day. I spend more time with our coaches, and the coaches spend more time with them than we even have a chance to spend with our families because of what we have to do. But you know what? We got to find a way when we're with our families, it needs to be special. And that's number uno. Just don't forget that, because that's what the good Lord wants us to do. He's not going to judge us on how much money and what our careers do, all that stuff. You know, we got to make a living. But the bottom line is we need to keep faith and family, and then whatever your profession, and my deal is football, into perspective. I'm going to close with this. This is from an old ball coach. Count your blessings instead of your crosses. Count your gains instead of your losses. Count the yeses instead of the nos, and count your friends instead of your foes. Count the full years instead of the lean. Count your deeds instead of your mean. Count your health instead of your wealth, and count on God instead of yourself. Thank you for the opportunity, and God bless you, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers.